Today. Before that, I would like to recite Mangalacharan prayers. So please, you can also participate in it or you can hear it very attentively. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratu Se Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nastaprayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, we would like to welcome you for our Shrimad Bhagwatam overview class. Today, we will continue the chapter 14, which we have started yesterday. So, we learned about Yudhishthira Maharaj was suspecting the title of the chapter is Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So in the beginning, Yudhishthira Maharaj was remembering the Narad Muni's word. Now that envious demons are annihilated, Lord Krishna will return to his abode, spiritual world. So he asked his younger brother Arjuna to go to Dwarka and find out about what is next plan of Krishna, and also he can inquire about well-beings of all the family members, relatives. So here Arjuna is departing from Hastinapur to Dwarka. Okay. So he wanted to know what is the next activity that Lord Krishna is going to perform. So on the order of Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjun goes to Dwarka. Look at the nice, beautiful chariot here with the flag on it. Now, since Arjun has left Hastinapur, it was 7 months, but he did not return. So Yudhishthira, and on top of it, Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing some inauspicious sign, which we discussed yesterday. Okay. For example, you can see that strange thing happening in his body, his left side quivering and all this kind of thing we learn about it. So then he's talking to Arjuna about it, sorry, Bhima. Okay. So we were in that discussion yesterday where Lord Krishna had further so many omens, the bad auspicious signs that he experienced as well as he observed, that he was describing to Bhim about it. So we can see last time we were discussing that bodily symptoms that Yudhishthir was experiencing himself. For example, he was experiencing that his left side of the body, that means thighs, arms, eyes, they were quivering. His heart was beating fast, and so on. So there are some other inauspicious signs related to animals also. And they are like jackal howling at sunrise and vomiting fire. That's one of the inauspicious sign. Then next, dog barking fearlessly. Then Yudhishthir was telling that cows are passing on my left hand side, which is also considered bad omen or inauspicious symptom. Then he's saying that the asses and donkeys are circumambulating me, and he says that my horses are weeping. So these are animal related symptoms. Inauspicious symptom means something going to happen bad in future. That's what it means. There are some signs related to birds also. For example, pigeon is like a messenger of death. Then shrieks of owls and their rival crows, owl, bird, crow, and crows. Okay, so when they shrieks, then Yudhishthir's heart was like trembling. And there are some natural panchbhuta, means natural disasters. What are the natural disasters? The calamities, the miseries that happens naturally. For example, smoke in the sky, then mountains throbbing, then wind blows violently. Sometimes we get tornado, right? And clouds rain blood, sun's rays declining, and stars appear to be fighting themselves. So these are the signs. Then rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and everything. They are like mind boggling. It's part of the mind. And butter, or we call it ghee, clarified butter, no longer ignites fire. Normally, butter is used to ignite the fire, but it will not ignite for doing yagna. No. Then there are some bad auspicious symptom regarding cattle. Cattle means cows and buffaloes and like that. So the calves, the small little children of cows, calves called calves, do not suck the teats of cows, and the calf does not give even milk also. So that is also bad omen, bad auspicious, inauspicious sign. Then bulls take no pleasure in pasturing ground. Normally, they are grazing grass in pasturing ground, and they don't find any pleasure. So, and there are some related to deities in the temple, right? So he was observing that the deities are crying in the temple. You know. And then the places, regarding some places, for example, cities, village, town, garden, hermitages of the sages, they all look devoid of, uh, they don't have any more happiness. There's no any beauty like that. So everything is kind of a look very morose in that case. So after experiencing these omens, symptoms of misfortune to come, Yudhishthir Maharaj concluding now that I think that all these earthly disturbances indicate some greater loss to the good fortune of the world. Yet he did not come to conclusion about disappearance of Lord Krishna, but he said there is something greater lost is to come. And thus, while Yudhishthir Maharaj observing and experiencing the inauspicious signs on the earth, at that time, Arjuna came back from Dwarka. So, when he came and he entered the palace, as soon as he entered the palace, he bowed at Yudhishthir's feet, his elder brother, but kept his head lowered. Tears glided from his eyes and ran down his cheeks. So basically, he was crying. You can see that. Tears glided from the eyes and ran down his cheeks. So he was in morose. He was not happy. You can see that. So Yudhishthir saw that his brother Arjun, very bold and powerful warrior brother, looked pale and anxious, miserable, not in a good condition. So then Yudhishthir remember again the Narad Muni's indication, the hint that is given by Narad Muni. Uh, and Yudhishthir questioned Arjuna about the well-being of residents of Dwarka. So now Yudhishthir is very curious and anxious even to know, how the relatives and friends are in Dwarka. So now he's inquiring from Arjuna, regarding, let's see, normally when we meet someone, after a long time, then we ask all kind of questions, right? Sometimes some family member comes, from long distance, and then we are, oh, how is your father, how is your mother, how is your sister, how is your uncle, auntie, like that. So naturally here Yudhishthir Maharaj is inquiring the welfare of all Yadu families, the members of the Yadu family. So first of all, he's asking the question that, are our friends and relatives of the Yadu family passing their days in happiness? So basically, he's asking, are they happy? You know. Next, he's asking about, are our grandfather like Sursen, who is the father of Vasudev. So that is their grandfather, an uncle like Vasudev, and his brothers all are doing well. So he's asking one by one of all these family members. Then Yudhishthira is asking about, are our aunts? Aunts mean Vasudev's wife. Vasudeva has 7 wives. So he was asking about Vasudev's wives, means their aunt, and also their sons and daughter-in-laws. And he was asking whether they are happy or not. Then he's asking about Ugrasen. He said, are Ugrasen, Rudik, Krutvarma, Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sarana, and Satrajit all happy? And then he's specifically call out the Balram's name. How is Balram? Is he okay? Okay, like that. And then he's asking about the Pradyumna and Aniruddha. They are children and grandchildren of Krishna. So he's asking about everything. Actually, all the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, along with their son, uh, are they all doing well? Because you see, Lord Krishna has a big family in Dwarka. Why? Because he has 16,108 queens. Each queen has 10 sons. And now those sons grew up, and each of them also had 10 sons. So if you make a total count, the family members of Krishna was 1,610,800. That many family members Krishna have. Now you imagine how he can maintain. But Krishna is Krishna, he is God, he's Bhagwan. So he can do anything. Then Yudhishthira asking about Srutadev, Uddhav, Nanda, Sananda, and other, those who are protected by Krishna and Balram, are they doing well? Then Maharaj Yudhishthir, after inquiring, he is coming to Lord Krishna. And while he's asking about Krishna, he remembers the glories of Krishna. So, in few verses, Maharaj Yudhishthir now glorifies Lord Krishna. Let's see how he glorifies Lord Krishna. So, while asking about Lord Krishna to Arjuna, Maharaj Yudhishthir remembers the glories of Krishna. So, Lord Krishna addressed as Bhagavan, Govinda, and Bhakta Vatsal, Brahmanya Devaya, right? Go Brahmanya Devaya cha, right? So he is like Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya cha. So he is very Bhakta Vatsal also. So now let's say he is Bhagwan. Why he is called Bhagwan? Bhaga means opulence, Aishwarya in uh, Devanagari, but it's opulence. Bhaga means opulence, and Van means one who possesses. Okay, so one who possesses Aishwarya. Okay, there are 6 kind of opulences that Lord Krishna possesses in full. Okay, so you remember that 6 kind of opulences are, first of all, wealth. Okay, then power means strength, then fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. So these are the opulences. Now, in material world, somebody may have these, but they do not have to the fullest extent. Even the wealthiest person, he may not have all the riches. But Lord Krishna, you can see from his Dwarka, when he was living there, he got 16,108 palaces, 1 palace for each queen. And all palaces were decorated and furnished with top furniture, like with jewels and emeralds and like that. So the riches he got fullest extent. Then he was also strength, powerful, right? We can see from his pastime while he was killing the demons in Vrindavan, even though he was a small boy, he killed all the demons. So we can see he lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days on his pinky, you know. So you can see Lord Krishna's strength from that point of view. Nobody can possess that strength. Nobody can possess the riches that Krishna has. Because everything belongs to Krishna. We don't possess anything actually. It is just given to us. It is by mercy. you know Otherwise, according to Isopnisad, he is the owner of everything, but he has given us some quota to maintain our life, you know like that. So we have to be grateful to him. So like that, he got a strength. Now fame is, he was a very famous personality in Mahabharata. You can see all over, right? um, his fame is spread all over. You can find it in from all Upanishads, Vedantas, so many places. The Lord Krishna's fame is there. Then knowledge, as far as knowledge is concerned, okay, he gave this Vedic knowledge to Lord Brahma in the beginning. Tene brahmadayadi kavaye muhyanti yat surya, right? He gave this Vedic knowledge to Brahma. He's the originator of the Vedas. You know, he's the original person. Uh, so he is very knowledgeable in that way. And as far as beauty is concerned, he was most beautiful person. Sometimes he wonder, you know, sometimes when he sees a pillar, and there is a glass on the pillar, and when he sees himself, he was very really astonished to see, oh, is that I'm that beautiful? And another time, Radharani was like very much attracted to Krishna. So Krishna was uh, uh, thinking himself, am I that beautiful? Why this girl is so attracted to me? Like that. So he have a beautiful bodily feature. He got auspicious characteristics. He was pleasing in nature. He was strong. We discussed that. He's ever youthful. This is the thing that we have to understand. Very youth. When we see that from he grows from birth to like 5-year-old pagan age, then he goes to herding cows. Then at 11 years, he goes from Vrindavan to Mathura. Akrura came to take him, and then in Mathura he spent some time, you know, but then he only grows up to 16-year-old, and that's it. He stops. He doesn't age any more than 16. So he's always youthful. It is not like, see, that is the difference between us and Bhagwan. We getting old. When we when we born, so we grew up, we became youth, we get married, we have a children, we become old, we become sometimes diseased, disabled, and then we die. So this is the mortal world. Mortal world means people die here. They take birth and they die. They become old. All these things happen. But as far as Krishna is concerned, he does not become old. He always ever stays fresh. Also, he's very truthful. He was a pleasing talker. He's very fluent in speaking, and he was highly learned. Education, we saw that thing. And then at the same time, he was also very renounced person. We can see how he was renounced, because when Akrura came to Vrindavan, on the order of Kamsa to take Krishna and Balram, even though he loved Vrajavasi so much, his friends, his father, mother, all these Gopa friends, Gopi friends, but when he has to leave, he left them immediately, when Akrura came to take them. So he was very renounced person also in that sense. Okay. So we can see the definition of Bhagavan. Bhaga is opulence, one who possesses, which called Bhagavan. That is why Krishna is the only Bhagavan means God. Okay. Now he is also called Govinda. Why he was called Govinda? Govinda, because he gives pleasure to cow and the senses. That is why. And who gave this name to Krishna?
Indra, Indra.
Lord Indra. Indra, very good. Yes. So Indra gave this name. And you know that pastime that happened in the Vrindavan, right? One time Brajvasis was trying to worship Indra. The reason they were worshipping Indra, there's they thinking that the rain, because the Indra is considered like a rain god, he sends the cloud, give rain, so that way, you can grow crops, grains, and vegetables and things like that. So they were dependent on Indra for rain, and it was the custom that they were worshipping Indra every year. But when Krishna was there in Vrindavan, when he was about 7 years old, then he asked his, no, first of all, he asked his mother, Mother, why, what we are doing? What are we doing? So his mother said, I'm too busy. You go to your dad and ask him, go to Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Baba, and ask him. So then he went to Nanda Baba. And Nanda Baba says that, we have to worship Indra. So Krishna says, why you have to worship Indra? Because he gives his rain. So Krishna says, no, 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 no. So at that point, Krishna discouraged the worship of demigod. He says, no, look at this mountain, this Govardhan hill. Govardhan hill gives everything. A Govardhan hill, the cows, you know. So we have to worship the cows and the hill, Govardhan hill. So from that point on, then somehow or other Krishna, small baby, but he convinced all these elderly people. And from that day on, they had started worshipping Govardhan hill. So we have a Govardhan puja coming in probably a few days here when this Damodar month start. After the Diwali, the next day is Govardhan puja. So here we can see that Lord Krishna is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. Basically, on that day, cows also get worship. And then Lord is also protector of cows and Brahminical culture. So you can see Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krasnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. That is why this verse is very famous, that you should someday have to memorize this verse. Very nice verse for glorification of Krishna. When we see Krishna's deity, we have to sing this verse. And another verse you can say, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nanda Gopakumaraya, Sri Krishnaya Namaha. Like that, you can always glorify Krishna when you see in his deity form in the temple. You may have a deity at home also, or picture of Krishna maybe. So you can do that thing. Then Krishna and Balram appeared in the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress of entire universe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, they resides within each and every universe. In the beginning, when we learn about the creation, we knew that Karanadaksai Vishnu, from that many universes, bubble came. So that is like each universe. And in that each universe, that Garbhodaksai Vishnu goes there. And from that Garbhodaksai Vishnu's navel, lotus flower comes, and on the top of the lotus flower, Lord Brahma born. So that is the first living being in each universe like that. There are so many universes. So here, Lord Yudhishthir is glorifying Lord Krishna that you reside within each and every universe in two capacities. One is Garbhodaksai Vishnu and another is Ksirodaksai Vishnu. Because from Ksirodaksai Vishnu, we see that all incarnations are coming and they are helping us, time to time. Also, another form from Ksharodakshaya Vishnu is like a super soul, Paramatma. Super soul resides in our heart with our soul. So, and that is in each and every living. It is not that in human species. In each and every species, there are six kind of people. There are human being, there are bird, there are animal, there are aquatics, there are insects, so all kinds of species are there, they number 8.4 million, 84 lakhs species different. So he lives in each and every living entity. Not to speak about living entity, he also be there in each and every atom, as a super soul, So Yudhishthira remembering and glorifying that that is how you come and reside and help us, Um, the Ksirodaksai Vishnu has his own planet on the northern top of the universe, and there is a great ocean of milk where the Lord resides on the bed of Ananta incarnation of Balram. So if you remember the story, I don't know, from Mahabharata or sometimes a earth when was very unhappy because of the demon, she took a form of a cow, complained to Brahma, and then Brahma and all the demigods and that earthly planet in the form of a cow, they goes to the Kshirodaksai Vishnu there. Kshirodaksai Vishnu, so they go to the milk ocean. So they are on the shore of the milk ocean, and from there they pray to the Kshirodaksai Vishnu. So, and then Brahma heard the sky voice that, okay, I heard your prayer. I will come, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. I will come and protect the devotees, I will kill the demons and I will re-establish the lost religion and so forth like that. So this is the instance that Yudhishthira remembering about how Lord Krishna, comes here into his earthly planet and helps, So then Maharaj Yudhishthira glorifies another activity of Lord Krishna. What is that? Especially how Lord played the part of faithful and husband. Because in Dwarka life, in Dwarka pastime, there are so many pastimes of Dwarka, but here Yudhishthira is trying to remember Krishna's pastime in Dwarka as a householder, as a husband of 16,008 queen, and how he fulfilled the requirement of all his queens, So that is also kind of his glorification, and Yudhishthira is remembering that thing, One time, Narad also went there in Dwarka to find out how Krishna lives his household life. Household life is simple, like we live like in a family, like a man and a woman and their children, So that is householder life. So, but Krishna is Bhagavan, and Narad Muni was also curious. There are so many queens. How can he satisfy all these queens simultaneously? So he also was very curious, and that's why one time he visited Dwarka also. But when he enters in one palace, Krishna is doing something with the queen, sometime. Uh, let's say, for example, he's taking the service from Rukmini. Rukmini is fanning him like that. And next palace, when Narad Muni goes, Krishna is doing some different activity. Maybe with Satyabhama, he's playing the chess game, like that. And when he go to third palace, then Narad find him, Krishna, playing with his children, like that. And in the fourth palace, when he goes, Narad finds something else, that he's trying to arrange marriage for his son like that. So, in each palace he goes, he's find different activities. So you can see the Krishna's activities never can be understood, So here specifically, Yudhishthir is reminding, he's remembering one pastime of when he took Satyabhama. Satyabhama is one of his principal queen. So one time, Lord Krishna went to Indraloka, in heavenly planet with Satyabhama. So Satyabhama was well received there by Sachi Devi. Sachi Devi is wife of Indra, and who introduced her to mother of the demigod, who is Aditi. Aditi is Kashyap Muni's wife, as you know. Kashyap Muni has several wives, but Diti and Aditi, they are main. So Aditi, from Aditi, Adityas were born, and from Diti, Daityas were born. So here, Aditi being the mother of demigod, so Aditi was very much pleased to see Satyabhama, and she blessed her with benediction. What kind of benediction she gave to Satyabhama? So she told her that you will remain youth, permanent youth, as long as Lord Krishna remain on the earth. So that benediction Satyabhama got from Aditi. And then Aditi also was taking him around. Demigods live very opulently. They have a nice recreation place, nice garden, good, nice trees, flowers. So Aditi thought that let me take Satyabhama to these recreation places. So then there is a special recreation place that Aditi took Satyabhama there. There she saw a parijat flower. Okay, so when Satyabhama saw that parijat flower, she desired to have it in her palace also. So that is, she developed a desire by seeing the parijat flower, right? So now, after that, she came back to Dwarka along with her husband, and then one day she expressed her desire, her willingness to have the parijat flower at her palace. Actually, her palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels. Even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool as if it is like air condition. So Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the parijat flower. So uh, Krishna has to go to heavenly planet to get it. So, and the Lord got it even by force, because normally that parijat flower from the heavenly planet, it is not belong to earthly planet. It is only should be there. But by force, even though demigod was not ready to give that parijat, still he followed his wife's instruction, and then he brought that thing. As a common husband fulfills the desire of his wife, similarly like that. So Yudhishthir is kind of in a remembrance of all these pastimes of Lord Krishna in Dwarka, and he was uh, that way glorifying Lord Krishna. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj is saying that the great Yadu family, where Krishna born, they were very fearless. Why? Because they were protected by Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, the members of the Yadu family forcibly brought another item. Is called Celestial Assembly House, called Sudharma Sabha. If you have heard it from Mahabharata, maybe. Sudharma Sabha, they also brought it from the heavenly planet. The Yadu family members were very, very, you know, uh, uh, they are so strong and they are so determined. They brought that thing, and that Sudharma Sabha assembly hall has a special characteristics. As long as you are in that hall, in that assembly hall, you will not feel hunger, you will not feel thirst, you will not get disease, like that. So this kind of hall was there. So they even brought that to the earth, you know. Actual human being cannot construct this kind of thing. So that is also uh, Yudhishthir's thinking that how the members of the Yadu family got that Sudharma hall from heavenly planet to the uh, earthly planet in city of Dwarka. So here uh, we also Yudhishthir remembers that Lord is equal in behavior to all living being, but still he is partial to his pure devotee. So the city of Dwarka was flourishing, being enriched with the best of the things in the material world. So at that time, the opulence of Dwarka was like unique, was so opulent. You cannot even imagine, better than heavenly planet. Then Yudhishthira, after glorifying, there are so many glorification he has made, but we will not go into all details. But we can only remember that how Yudhishthir Maharaj was remembering Krishna's pastime in Dwarka, and that way relishing his pastime, you know, even in the midst of the the bad signs, the inauspicious signs that he was observing and experiencing. So now what is happening is he inquires about Arjuna's welfare now, because Yudhishthir from all angles of vision, Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired from Krishna about the welfare of Dwarka, but then he concluded at least that as long as Lord Sri Krishna himself was there, nothing inauspicious could happen. Still, he is not sure that whether he has disappeared. So this is all suspect. The whole chapter is regarding about Yudhishthir suspecting the disappearance of Lord Krishna. But at the same time, Arjuna appeared to be bereft of his bodily luster, and thus king inquired of his personal welfare. Now, Yudhishthira, especially looking at his brother Arjuna, very morose, very miserable, pale, crying. So he's asking so many vital questions to Arjuna now. So, first question that he does to Arjuna is that, is your health all right, my brother? You appear to have lost your bodily luster. What happened to you? You know. So here at this point, we should remember that he's still not sure of Krishna's disappearance. And he's asking all these questions to Arjun. What happened to you? Why are you crying like this? Why are you so miserable? Then he is also asking, were you disrespected or neglected because you stayed so long into the Dwarka? Somebody insulted you? Like that. So many questions Yudhishthira is asking now to Arjuna because he's concerned about his brother. Next, he's asking about uh, were you addressed with unfriendly words, or maybe somebody may have threatened you like that? He wants to know about that. Another question is asked that, did you fail to give charity that you had promised to someone and you could not give it? Is that the thing happened? So now, kind of to find out from Arjuna, this asking all kind of questions to Arjuna. Now he's asking about, could you not protect deserving candidate, for example, Brahman, children, cow, women, diseased person? In this society, these people like Brahman, children, women, cows, diseased person, they especially need uh, to be taken care. They deserve the care, you know. So he's asking that they were deserving candidate, and it so happened that you could not protect them. So these are the speculative questions that Yudhishthir have for Krishna, because Brahman in the society, they are like a Bhudev. Bhu means earth. They are like a uh, demigod on earth, Bhudev. They are very respected in former time. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, there is not so many qualified brahmanas, but during that time, Dwapar Yuga, they were very pious and they were very learned and they were very knowledgeable and they were very helpful to the society. Children, of course, they need help, you know, and they need protection. Similarly, cows need protection, women needs protection, diseased persons need some, they expect some care should be given to them. So Yudhishthir was uh, uh, surprising that is that something happened that you could not protect them, you know. Then he's asking, have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? you know then the next question is asking that, have you been defeated by someone who is inferior or equal to you? Because normally kshatriya, Arjun was a warrior, was kind of a very famous warrior, right? Because he learned through the association of Dronacharya. From Dronacharya he learned his archery, and is very expert. So he has a full confidence in his brother Arjuna. And then he was asking that, are you defeated by inferior person, something like that. Then he's asking about, have you taken your meal alone without feeding elder and children? This is also very social custom, Vedic way. You cannot eat unless you feed children and elderly people. That was the sort of a Vedic rule. So this is asking about it, that have you taken meal without feeding them? So because then also during those days it is so, I mean, if you eat without taking care of them, then it is like you may have done some kind of a sin. It is like a sinful activity, like that. So that is what how Yudhishthir was asking to Arjuna about it. Then he's asking, have you committed some abominable or unpardonable mistake? Why you are so? Because Yudhishthir uh, uh, is a dearest brother Arjun. He was caring for him, and because of that, he's asking that, have you committed any abominable action? Like that. So in that, he's saying that it is the duty of a householder to feed first of all the children, the old member of the family, the brahmanas, and the invalid, the disabled person. Besides that, an ideal householder is required to call for any unknown hungry man to come and dine before he himself goes to take his meal. So he is required to call for such hungry men 3 times, on the road. The neglect of this prescribed duty of a householder, especially in the matter of old men and children, is unpardonable. So that is why he's asking about that. And then he's also asking about, now last question he's asking there, or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? This is the last question he asked now. His suspect is now opened up. So he admitted, I cannot think of any other reason than that. Why you are so morose and so miserable. So all these inquisitiveness of Maharaj Yudhishthir about the world situation was already conjectured by Maharaj Yudhishthir on the basis of Lord Krishna's disappearance from the vision of the Lord. And this was now disclosed by him because of the acute dejection of Arjuna, which could not have been possible otherwise. So, even though he was doubtful about it, he was obliged to inquire frankly from Arjuna on the basis of Sri Narada's indication that he got from the previous chapter. So I will end this chapter here now and take any questions or comments from you. I have a little more time, but I think we can entertain you for questions and comments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. So I request to all the participants, if you have any questions, comments, any reflections, so please raise your hands. So we will take one by one. So the first one is Shlok. Shlok, please unmute. You are unmuted. So please ask your question if you have any.
My question is that Satyabhama the woman who married Bhishma?
No, 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 no. Satyabhama is wife of Krishna, daughter of Satrajit. There is
Oh.
a there is
And
a
is Satyajit the person who used to have the that gem?
Samantak jewel.
Yeah, and for that Shatadhanwa and two other people killed him.
Krutvarma. Yeah, there is a nice story behind it. Sometime we will also, I will tell you that story. Very nice story. So, at the end, Satrajit gave her daughter along with Samantak Jali to Krishna. But there is a big story behind it. Okay. Anything else?
So that's all.
Okay. The second, if you have any questions, comments, please raise your hands. Hare Krishna.
Thanks Shiva's for iPhone. He has a question.
Your voice is not very low. Can you speak aloud, beta?
Oh, it says Shiva's iPhone. He has a question.
Yes, yes, you can ask your question, Shiva, but you can speak aloud. Your voice is too low. We can't hear you properly.
So my question is, how could Krishna's wife's raise 10 sons?
Krishna's wife. What about?
How could they raise 10 sons?
How can they raise 10 sons?
Yeah.
Oh, for Krishna, I mean, to raise sons is not a problem, right? He's raising everybody, right? All these millions of living entity. So raising
Okay.
his own son may not be problem at all for Krishna. He's Bhagavan.
Okay.
Actually, he's maintaining us also. He is maintainer of all living entity. Yes. Is okay, Shiva? Okay. Anybody else?
Please unmute yourself. Did you get your answer? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments? Prabhu, my daughter have one or two questions.
Yes.
So shall she speak?
Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Megha. How are you?
I'm good, Prabhuji. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So my question is that what's the meaning of the word Bhagwan?
Bhagavan, yes. Bhaga is opulence. Right? Bhaga means opulence. And Van means one who possesses. So he possesses six opulence to the fullest extent. That is why it is Bhagavan. This is the definition by Parasar Muni, who is father of Vyasdev. So Parasar Muni gives the definition of Bhagavan, that one who possesses six opulences in fullest extent. And you know that full opulences, right? Well, yeah,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
you're welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mishita, please unmute yourself. Mishita.
She left the meeting.
Okay. Shlok, do you have question?
Yeah, I have one more. What does opulence mean?
Opulence means like a very wealthy, richness, you know.
Oh, okay. Now I understand. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So, if anybody have any questions, Aradhita, do you have any question, Aradhita?
No, Mataji, but it was a really nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, as of now,
Mataji, wait, can I ask one question?
yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, my charging went out. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, you said Krishna, he like protects this world, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how does Krishna protect it when like he's in the spiritual world?
Well, through his representative, through his see, that's why you can see that we are maintained by the demigod who are representative of Krishna, because the demigod provide us our daily necessities. You know, we can say Vivaswan, sun god. The sun gives the light and heat. The moon gives also the light and moonshine, from which vegetable grows, flower grows. You know, see, indirectly all these things, nature that we see around us, that is because of he has given power to his representative, and through them we get this thing. But ultimately, he is the one who maintains us.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, we don't have much questions more. So,
Okay.
should we wind up our call?
Yes, Mataji. Okay. So we'll
Hare
end the class here. So tomorrow, I mean Friday, you will have a Kahoot game on this one. So I wish that you will do good on that one. Wish you all best of luck for that. And next week we will begin chapter 15. So today we'll end our session here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthara Shrimad Bhagwatam ki,
Bye. See you later. Tea.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
Patintanam pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo
नमो
namo namaha.
नमः। हरे
Thank you.
कृष्णा and
Hare
thank you
Krishna.